Good evening. It's time for another edition of the Blockchain Mastery Podcast. My name is Titi Oyinsan. Thanks for joining us. Okay, hello. Welcome to Blockchain Mastery Podcast. My name is Titi Oyinsan. Blockchain technology, the opportunities and possibilities for the future. That's what we're here to talk about. And we're going to be doing this again and again and again, as many times as we can, so that we can enlighten the public on this amazing technology and, of course, how it's affecting our futures. Today's topic is a really interesting one: building in public, scaling the blockchain space. How do we make it bigger, larger? How do we make it more interactive, make it do more things, make it more engaging, make it more user friendly? These are all the questions that keep coming up for people that want to take advantage of blockchain technology and get more involved as much as they can. Now, in the world of blockchain, transparency and community engagement have become paramount. Building in public, as I said before, refers to the practice of developing projects openly, sharing progress, challenges, successes with the community in real time. So this approach, it doesn't only foster trust, but it also leverages on collective intelligence and drive innovation, drive growth in the industry. Joining us today to explore this topic, we have Kevin Okoye. Now, he's popularly known as Ezemmuo Blockchain. I hope I got that right. Ezemmuo Blockchain. He is a seasoned entrepreneur within the tech landscape. He's a strategic and result-oriented Web3 community growth lead, business developer, and tech content creator. I think he needs to give me some classes on this content creation. I don't know. I need to learn a few things from this guy. Now, he has a proven track record of cultivating vibrant communities and extensive experience speaking at industry events, conferences. He's also organized, anchored major IRL blockchain conferences as well, conferences that pulled in like over 3,000 people. So yeah, this is the person to speak to on this matter. He is also the founder of GIDA, that's Gina Kev Digital Academy, and co-founder of Blockchain UNN. Okay, after that entire mouthful, let's welcome Kevin Okoye. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Titi. It's nice to be here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Now, I have to say, did I get the pronunciation right? Is it more blockchain? Did I get it?
Right, it's Ezemmuo Blockchain. You got it correct.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to be sure. But you need to tell us the backstory to that. How did that begin?
Okay, the name is Ezemmuo Blockchain. The history is pretty an interesting one. So, looking at it from the perspective which made me adopt it is we're in a class group discussing because I was a student at the time when the name was made. So we were discussing financial markets in my class group. I studied biochemistry, so instead of discussing things related to biochemistry, I tend to teach my classmates about blockchain and crypto, and that's even what led me to form blockchain UNN. So as we kept discussing this thing over and over a couple of times in the class group, somebody just sent a message and said he has changed my contact from Kevin that he saved it as to Ezemmuo Blockchain. At first, it was really funny, saying the name Ezemmuo Blockchain because literally, if you are an Igbo person, you know that the Ezemmuo guys are people that deal with the gods. They are like messengers for the gods. So the name Ezemmuo Blockchain implies messenger for the blockchain gods. And then what made me actually adopt it is looking at my journey in this space. I actually, have gone through the ups and downs because if you look at African history, when you hear about the Ezemmuo guys, they tell you that you have to cross 7 rivers, 7 oceans. There are difficult challenges you have to pass through to actually be tested and proven worthy. So I actually just look, you um, so why not? I deserve to use them more, so I adopted the name.
It's actually really interesting to hear the backstory. And those hurdles you're talking about, they are big hurdles. Oh.
Actually.
A lot of people don't understand what people in this space actually go through, trying to even just gain credibility. And even for people like myself, as far back as 2017, I've been talking about blockchain technology, and some people would look at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" And then you would now have people remove you from WhatsApp groups because they just assume that you're just no longer a credible person to speak with.
True.
But thankfully, this is what 6, 7, 8 years later now. It's gaining ground. It's has a more solid foundation. The concept of building in public has gained traction now. Um, I have to ask you a little bit about how you got into blockchain before you founded what you have now. That's Blockchain UNN and JIDA.
Perfect. So actually, my journey in the blockchain space started in 2018. Like I said, I tend to look at myself as the Ezemmuo because I passed through a lot of challenges. One of them was actually coming into the online space. There were a lot of scams, so a lot of opportunities which you put your money into and they run away. So that was actually how I started my tech journey. So I was actually scammed via Bitcoin mining. So I did a lot of research, having read about Bitcoin, what it's all about. Tried investing money and then he ran away with my money. So I literally lost everything and thought about quitting. I decided to give it another shot. So I came in from the angle of affiliate marketing. There was a company then called Neuro, I think around 2019 thereabouts, that they said they trade crypto for you. You just invest, they trade crypto for you, and you get a fixed percentage. So I think they pay like 1.5% every day. Whatever it is you invest, you get 1.5% of it every day. And this thing ran for like 3 months. So I was promoting it because I believe they were really doing the trading for you, and I was seriously, vested in it. And there were a lot of, bonuses that they were paying when you refer people. So I'm a very good marketer. So a lot of people, I refer people from across countries, China, Germany, across countries. Even in Nigeria, I was like the top referral lead at the time. And funny thing, at the time I had just left like secondary school. I started working as a teacher in a private school. I think I worked for like 3 years, and that's when I knew that I couldn't do this normal jobs which everybody was doing anymore. It was too difficult. I was paid like 5,000 naira at the time at my teaching job. So it was really, really, really difficult. So that's what made me now start looking at the online stuff, and from doing normal affiliate marketing via, these affiliate marketing platforms exist in existence at the time. And I also out here and pivoted from there. So the funny backstory is these guys equally went away with my money and the money of everybody.
Wow.
How these things usually happen. They talk about the platform was hacked, those kind of backstory they usually bring. So they brought that kind of backstory and the money went down. So before then, I was actually actively referring people to the platform. So there was a guy that I referred at the time, told him about this platform that he should invest in it. I was all after my there was a bonus they called it. I can't remember the exact name, but there was a bonus they give if you
Yeah.
invite people. So I was just after that bonus. So this guy told me that this platform will crash, that it's a get rich quick scheme, that it will crash. At the time, I didn't understand all these things. I thought they were really doing it. So he told me he's going to give me 2 months. That if the platform doesn't crash in 2 months, he's going to invest $5,000
Wow.
and he's going to get a very big bonus for that. So when the platform now went down, he now reached my GM and told me, Shay, he told me that this thing will go
Mm,
down. So I was
mm.
actually really hot because I literally reinvested every single thing. So this
Wow.
was like the second time after the Bitcoin mining saga that I lost everything to crypto.
Wow.
And I just said I will not do it again. But the guy now said he's now going to teach me crypto proper. That this thing which this platform says they are doing
Mm,
for you, you can actually do it on your own. So that was around 2018. And then he, led me by the hand. His name is Violin Josh. I always give him a shout out each time in space. Violin Josh
Violent
is
Josh, you said that?
yes, Josh is his name. So I really appreciate him because if it wasn't him nudging me to the right direction or urging me to go on, I would really have quit. I really suffered. Those seven
So
rivers admissions.
yeah. So you know the interesting thing, your story is not. It's very similar to the story of so many people that are in blockchain tech and Web3 today. There are a lot of people that have gone through that process, and if you haven't, that it's possible that you're not even really ready to even go into this business in the first place.
True. You
Now,
may not know that it's gonna be difficult if you always have it easy and rosy like many have it today. So
exactly. They
from
have it
that,
so easy today because they didn't have to. You know how they would even report you to family members. That's this guy.
it was a serious problem. I also had that issue. Your family feels like you're always on your phone. The parents
Yeah,
always be like, "Well, you're always on
true.
your phone. Why? That kind of thing."
Exactly.
They feel they are protecting you anyways, but
Mm,
you are the person that understands it better than them. So the consistency and constant push is what actually kept me going. So I took my time after he brought me into the system to understand it and started teaching people because one thing about me, like I said, my background is from teaching, although they were not paying me so well. I just loved teaching, and I love the fact that people understand anything I teach. It's very rare to listen to me teach you anything and not understand. So when I came in, I now started teaching people in this community, gathered more people, let's educate them more. Because a lot of people were going to pass through the same thing I passed through. I lost a lot of money, literally lost every of my savings for like 3 years of my teaching. So it was a very difficult challenge for me. So I now decided to, educate more people in his community. And from there, now launched Gida since I already started gaining traction and was already seeing money. I didn't want people to pass through the same challenge. So that's how I came about launching Gida. That's Gina Kev Digital Academy. So it was launched at the time as Gina Kev Crypto Hub, anyways, which we later eventually rebranded. So its own goal was just to teach people about crypto, give them fundamental knowledge via masterclasses, bootcamps. And since then, all our activities have been free. The barrier to entry at my time was very high. I think that's even why I
yeah,
didn't learn the whole thing proper. You have to pay
sure,
thousands of dollars,
sure.
to learn from people. So it was very, very, the barrier to entry was very high. So in my
Mhm.
case, I just decided to do everything for free. Just come and learn if you are really interested. So we've been organizing like boot camps since 2020 when we launched to now. We've had a lot of partnerships. I think we've trained
Amazing.
like 10,000 people so far.
Wow. Wow.
Around 10,000 people have learned. A lot of them have gone on to become big people in the space. They always, in their Twitter spaces, make reference to me, and I feel very proud each time I hear that.
You should.
Yeah,
You should really. Ezemmuo blockchain. I mean, you should really. And thank you for everything you're doing. It's one of the reasons why this particular platform is here as well, because there's just so many questions and not enough people answering the questions
true,
out there. So if we can get some answers here, it's better for the space and it'll encourage growth in the space as well. Now let's
true,
come back to the topic now before we go off point. Building in the public space. Now it's gained building in public has gained a lot of traction. I mentioned that earlier on. Um, so this is sharing of development milestones. This is soliciting feedback from people that are using maybe your product or your platform. This is engaging with community, but sort of break down what it means, apart from what I've just said, to build in public. Give us a breakdown.
yes. So building in public is actually a very vital phrase. In fact, it's my key phrase. If you check my Twitter handle, if you check my Twitter profile, there is the banner there. It says Ezemmuo Blockchain built in public. It's like a key phrase which I use all the time. I even held a Twitter space last week on this very concept with around 8,200 people tuning in to listen. So it's something that totally resonates with me because it's helped me grow in the space. So when we talk about building in public, it means put out your work out there. If you want to scale in the space, the topic of our discussion tonight says building in public, scaling in the blockchain space. So to actually scale in the blockchain space, just three words are the solution: build in public. So it looks at various angles to it. There are various angles to building in public. As somebody that is just starting out, at the time when I started out, it was very, very difficult for me due to my background or due to the kind of like environment from which I came from. So you find out that, like I said, I left school at the time when I started doing these techie things. because I just discovered that I didn't want hard life. Tech offered easy life, but of course it's going to be difficult. So I stood there. But like the environment was literally like a barrier. Like the people you are talking to, maybe people that see your status or people that see your post, they are very few, and probably they are your classmates from secondary school. So you find out that it's very, very challenging, pivoting from the normal way you've been doing things before. Probably the kind of life you live is every Sunday you go to church, you snap photos, you post it to say happy Sunday, those kind of things. Those are like the things they see public people like and engage because obviously it's Sunday and they are your friends. But when you now switch over to a totally different career path and start posting about those things, it's very hard to get impressions, likes, views, and all that. So what building in public entails is the consistency, right? Start showing off your work. Like I said in the Twitter space last week, you literally start by starting, right? Building in public. If you really want to scale in the blockchain space, you have to build in public. People are going to get you jobs. You are going to get access to opportunities. You're going to get access to offers because you build in public, right? You necessarily shouldn't care about the views. You shouldn't care about how many people see your work or what feedback you are getting at the beginning stage, right? Just make like a calendar. I think that's what I did around 2020 when I was, really scaling up my putting of content out there. Literally every day I post content. I don't mind how many people are seeing it. Eventually, the traction started coming. I was
Mm.
just posting content. Traction started coming, making videos, writing articles, and all that.
It sort of gives some sort of transparency regarding how you're growing, how you're scaling with whatever you're doing. So this is okay. Let's even just use a basic normal SME business. Maybe someone opens a supermarket, right? So what you are saying is they shouldn't just come online and put pictures of a finished supermarket. What you're saying is, as you are painting the supermarket, be showing people videos of you painting the supermarket. As you are putting in the shelves, you should show people as they're constructing the shelves, right? As you're
Exactly.
getting
Exactly.
the till, the POS, and everything, as you're getting all those things to start the business, you should be showing people that. You're saying this helps people follow your growth, or am I wrong?
You are very much correct. Actually, as you keep putting out these little snippets, you are actually people now see you in a totally different light than the way they used to see you. Like some people will actually be anticipating what is coming next. There are some people that probably they are coding, or like you said, they are starting a business.
Mm,
If you are putting like if you make it like a 30 days challenge, that every day you're going to be posting content are relating to that skill you are learning or that business you are starting. You put day one of 30, this is what I did today, and you put like a picture, video, or whatever. You may not really get any views or impressions. Day two, you do the same thing. Day three, you do the same thing. Somebody sees it, they don't like on a retweet, but somebody has seen it. The next day, if your post comes across the person's timeline again, they're actually anticipating what comes next or what's your end goal. So that's like the magic that this building in public does for you, right? People
mm,
tend to anticipate what comes next. What is the end goal? What is it going to look like? That's like a benefit that comes with this. So you have literally started gaining a community of followers without doing much, right?
mm,
Sometimes I don't really do ads for most of the things I do. Just post about them, and people constantly follow up. You know,
fantastic.
so that's an advantage that comes with it. Instead of coming with the perfect and finished product, just like shooting content, there are people that start with poor camera, and
Mm,
then eventually, when they upgrade, they make a video about their upgrade, and people are like, "Wow!" And then you can revert back to, the beginning days. But if you come out with the finished product, always like you are not going to get as much traction as you would have when you have started small. And besides, another advantage it offers is you have something to revert to. That these were your earlier days, but that's the big
it's true.
advantage of building public.
So I know that's just one of the advantages, though. What are the other key benefits? Apart from it, helping people understand what you're doing and key into what you're doing from the beginning. What are the other benefits of building in public?
So, building in public helps you like be transparent in your dealings, right? People can easily pinpoint what is happening with you or how you are moving. Let's use myself as case study. right? Let's say I come from, that kind of thing where there's something P2B usually says, like wealth without enterprise. It just comes from nowhere and then boom, you are wealthy all of a sudden. So it's like a lot of people start asking questions. Where did that come from? How did it happen? But if you're the type that has been putting out your work, people publicly saw, like, when your growth actually started. They actually saw how you were moving. They can actually see, like, how you you grew to that stardom that you currently have, or how you grew to that level of wealth. If you say you are doing, there are people today that probably do fraud and use crypto and forex to cover up for it, but there's literally no proof of you ever doing crypto and forex outside the fact that you say it. But if you're somebody that has a track record of actually
Hmm.
doing those things before, you see that that transparency is established and nobody can question your wealth. Nobody can question how you do things. I can't come and position myself as a professional today if I don't have a track record of doing such things. So let's say you want to hire me for a job, because I've been building in public, that transparency is there. Then another advantage it has is
Okay.
accountability, right? Building in public helps you to actually grow. There's one thing I'm very intentional about, and that's growth, not just for myself, but for people around me. If you're always putting out content, you can actually get corrected. You get the community feel. You know that thing where they say it takes a community to build or grow a person. As you build in public, you get to actually, what's it called? You receive feedback. You get to actually know whether you are really doing well or not. So there were a lot of things I used to do before that I thought I was doing good. In fact, there were articles I wrote that it's in people's comments. Excuse me. I realized there was an error somewhere. But if I had just been kept keeping those things to myself and just assume I know everything, you see that I won't go far. So it helps you, like, be accountable,
Sure.
and receive feedback and grow
But
in,
I'm
in
wondering
general.
now, are there actually some examples you can give, or some successful examples of projects or platforms that were built in public? Do you have any case studies for us?
Okay, usually, in this case right now, the way I look at the topic is more of individuals than even platforms. Building in public has helped a lot of individuals that I know, right? A lot of my students, a lot of people that started out with me, a lot of people that started in the blockchain space writing articles. If you go to Twitter, X, where I'm very, used to, you see a lot of people that just started writing from one thread. You get 0 likes, 1 like, 2 likes. The next thing you see them, they're on 3,000 followers, 5,000, 10,000 followers. They're bagging deals up and down. So on that individual level or individual basis, you find out that there's so many proof of work. Myself as case study, even there's a lot of proof of work that you know building public has really helped me scale. Right. Then when you talk of companies, it depends on the kind of companies you are talking about anyways. But blockchain brands, like,
Yeah,
let's say communities, for instance, they started
sure.
small, right? If you go back, like, to Gita, for instance, when we started our classes, we're having like 20 10 people attending boot camps, 20 people. Why the last boot camp we just held last month had around 1,000 people registering for it, and 100 graduated. We're having
Sure.
classes every single day for 1 month, teaching them the skill of trading. Look at Blockchain UNN, that's Blockchain University of Nigeria, my other startup, which I'm the
Sure.
co-founder. When we started Blockchain UNM in 2021, just a little backstory before I answer anyway. So
Yeah.
I came into the university in 2019, having understood a lot about crypto and blockchain. So I saw that a lot of students were struggling the way I used to struggle when I was a teacher. So I said, what can we do to change this? So I met with my co-founder, um, Anelechku Nduka. So good thing we actually got admitted into school the same time. In fact, we were just messaging each other on Facebook because I was very active on Facebook at the time, and told him, like, "Well, now let's meet." So he also pitched the idea to me. I said, good stuff. And then I also brought in one extra co-founder, that's Alvan. So when we met up, we now said, what can we do to enlighten students about blockchain and crypto? Because a lot of people were falling for scams, right? A lot of people were falling for, there were a lot of scams out there. So we didn't want that to happen. So just like each of us has our personal brand, I have Gida, he has Alpha Blocks, Alvan also has this. So we now decided to come together and call it Blockchain University of Nigeria, since our university was University of Nigeria. So it was born out of the passion to educate people on various skills which they can use in the tech space to make money for themselves. So like you can see on our website, we have skills like blockchain development. You get to learn about blockchain development. You get to learn about content writing. You get to learn about design, front end, back end. There's human development. You get to learn about public speaking, crypto education, crypto and blockchain education. You get to learn about, you know, trading and various arms of it. So we have a lot of partnerships. We have Web3 Bridge, which is like the biggest trading education platform, the developer education platform in Africa. We have partnership with them. We send them developers to train. We have lots of partnership. Gita also has a partnership with Blockchain UNN since we train on trading and various arms. So it's a student blockchain club. And to be honest, we're actually like the biggest in Africa. We have like industry conferences every year. We had the Blockchain Conference 1.0 when we started, then 2.0 last year, and this year we're planning for 3.0. We have had events literally since we started. We are like what makes the tech ecosystem in the southeast here. Like we made it bloom. A lot of students started getting into tech from our conferences. They heard about blockchain for the first time, started getting skill sets, and then grew up from there. We've been invited lots of times to other universities since we started. Lots of universities have seen what we've done. You know, they are trying to replicate the same thing. People have started various blockchain clubs, and people have invited us to their schools as well to come and enlighten their students. We actually have even presence. Literally, almost every event happening in the country, we're usually like invited to become partners. So from starting small like that, you know, the building in public is what I'm trying to relate it to now. We
Sure.
started just like when we had our first session. We were just like 10 people that were in the session in blockchain UNN, just 10 students on our Telegram call that day. You know, and today we've grown to a community of about 3,000 plus persons, and we have a developer community. So we have front end, back end, Web3 developers, and most of them are gainfully employed. They are winning hackathons. In fact, we had a hackathon that we went to last 2 months, and we won all the categories. All our devs won everything. So there's hackathon. There's a design community for people who are designers. There is a content writers community for people who are content writers. So those are my co-founders on the sites there, the two of them, Anthony and Alvan. So that's how we started. So for brands like us, building in public is really what helps us. Talk about your product. If you don't make your noise, nobody's going to make it for you. The mainstream media is literally just interested in the big names. So you can be a big name by actually believing you're a big name and shout yourself like a big name. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I have to say thanks for sharing, your journey with us. And in truth, feedback is very important. But building community is also they say building your tribe now. That's what they say now. Building your tribe, building a followership, um, and building a group of people that can also influence the development of a project. Right? We need to talk about your strategies now, maintaining consistent communication in your community while building, because it's already hard enough to build these platforms. It's challenging building, but then you're now worried about how people are going to view it, how people are going to see it, whether the right message is getting out there. Talk to us about your strategies so far.
okay. If you mean about if you refer to strategies in building in public or strategies of maintaining a community, I think the first thing is understand your vision first of all, right? When you have clear understanding of what you are trying to achieve, it's going to help you like stay true to it at all times. For instance, if your goal is probably to raise developers, you should just focus on raising developers. Or if your mission is probably creating a community where people just learn about crypto, generic knowledge, you focus on that and not be specific. Because once you become specific on any niche, you see that it hampers like the rest of the people that attend that community or that are part of that community. So first thing is understanding the community. Or if in the case of building in public, you have to first of all understand your skill sets, right? That you want to really be known for. Right? If you say you want to be known for crypto, have that as the main thing. Don't start being known for crypto and then the next thing tomorrow we see you talking about probably affiliate marketing, everything the same time one. So you have to understand like the or the community. Next, you look at market demand. Is there really this thing that you are on? We saw for blockchain UNN, there was demand for it because demand, but you can use your assessment to know that a lot of people as students are struggling, right? And blockchain really solves a lot of issues, right? Financial issues being one of them that is most common among students. So financial issues, there was a lot of demand for people to find alternative means of income. As a student, you should not go and be selling in the restaurants before you make money, leaving your lectures. As a student, you should not go and be carrying blocks in construction sites. There needs to be easier ways to make these things happen. So in that case, we discovered there was market demand. As an individual, when building in public, market demand also matters. That thing you are trying to put out, is there really demand for it? In my case, when I started crypto content on my Facebook, my in thought was just, I want to educate like the people who are viewing this post. So literally, I knew there was demand because a lot of people lacked knowledge, and probably they wanted to learn, but barrier was very high. And to prove yourself as an industry leader, you have to be consistent. So you have to first of all figure out if there is demand. Then
Mm.
finally, set clear goals. Set clear goals. How do you want to execute this thing? Like I used in my case, I used a calendar. I created a calendar for myself and said, okay, I wake up and next thing 5 a.m. I start writing content. I pick up any article every single day. I must publish an article. And for the past like 3 years in a row, like from 2019, 3 years in a row, I was publishing articles every single day on Facebook, where I was most active, and then pivoted to other platforms. So I wake up, write article on anything, find suitable image, design if necessary, and post it. So the clear goal was 5 a.m. I wake up, and then I post by 8 a.m. every day. In fact, there's something that recently happened that made me laugh a bit. I tend to post on my status. I have a set time every day that I post on my WhatsApp status. And I post educational content. Probably the one I post on social media, I just recast it and post on my WhatsApp status or Telegram status. So I tend to post by 8:30 a.m. on each of these days. I start posting from 8:30 a.m., delete the previous post. So on a certain day, I didn't post by 8:30. Probably I guess I was busy. I can't exactly remember, but I didn't post by 8:30. But I had it in mind to post later in the evening. And then I just eventually was now swiping through WhatsApp statuses of people that have my contacts. And then I saw somebody's post that Kevin Chibuoyim didn't post by 8:30 a.m. today. Is he okay? Ezemmuo Blockchain didn't post. Is he all right? Like people like knew that I was posting by 8:30. I didn't really take it into heart. It was just like a habit. And I never knew that people now like have that in their mind at 8:30 they're coming to check my status. And then when I now posted something related, people said they always search. They don't even like, statuses are long. They now search my handle once it's 8:30 because there's something to learn. So that kind of thing is what I mean, setting clear goals. When you set clear goals, as you start building in public, you just create an impression and you write from there. So
But
setting clear
now,
goals.
doesn't that give you this sense of, okay, isn't that a lot of pressure? Like you mentioned, the setting clear goals, making sure 8:30, you've posted. But also, once you're building in the open, how do you manage the expectations of the public? Now, not everything in blockchain is as easy to put together and create in record time. If maybe you promised to do something in 1 month and by the end of that month you've not been able to achieve it, how do you manage the expectations of those who have been following you? Uh, because it sort of makes you run the risk of people not believing in what you're doing anymore.
Good question. So the good thing is nobody puts you under pressure. You are the one that can put yourself under pressure, right? So it's always good to take a break. In fact, like throughout last year, I didn't like put out anything much because I had other personal issues I was battling with. Probably you're a student and you're writing exams and it's very serious exams. You obviously won't keep up the same energy like the time when you were, it was just class period. You can literally skip classes and do otherwise. So you find out that there are periods when you can't maintain the same energy that you used to maintain before. If you are the type that explains, you can explain, right? That will be unavailable for XYZ period of time. But believe me, once you come back, those engagements are going to come back. I've done it multiple times, right? So you can equally like just understand that you are not mandated to do anything. You are not under pressure. You are the only person that can place yourself under pressure. But another thing I think is it gets like becomes a habit over time. You don't look at it like something that is a lot of work. Like writing content, the way like I used to write a lot of content, I can literally craft caption now. I'll take somebody 30 minutes to think a lot of things. I do it like under 1 minute. So because I have people I work with, sometimes I tell our social media managers that see, this thing you are taking so much time to do. I just do it in 1 minute because I do it, it's become like a part of me. So I think when you have made it a habit that this is how you are your what's the word, your timeline should look like, or like what your schedule should look like, it becomes like a habit to you, and you won't see it like anything pressure. In fact, if you don't do it, your body is going to tell you that something is missing that you've not done. Outside
You've made
putting out of content, I think,
yeah.
yeah, attending of events and posting about them is one thing that has helped me a lot. Attending tech events and otherwise, just post about these things you attend. So a lot of people tend to forget to do that, right? In fact, some don't attend these events. You have to learn to attend tech events. I've
Mm,
posted a lot myself, but before I started posting, I used to attend. So once you attend, post about it. This is what I learned. So most of the followers, most of the speakers rather, even tend to connect to you from there. I see that you really, broke down what they spoke on in depth and makes sense. You connect from there. Outside posting as well, easiest way for me to that I usually build in public is connect with people at tech events. You have influencers, outside influencers, you have key opinion leaders, you have valuable people that you see are building stuff, founders and otherwise. I connect with them from there, collect their contacts, ensure that they have my save, reach out to them on WhatsApp. And then what's the next thing? Next thing is ensure that what they see, the first impression matters, right?
mm,
What they see about you first should be something that is impressive, or they get to understand the kind of person you are. So I don't collect contacts and then the next day probably on my status, because I may now post probably student work. In fact, I had to shield my life as a student at some point so that it creates that level of seriousness, so you understand the kind of person I am. So the next day after collecting my contact, what you should be seeing on my status is a thread that explains probably what blockchain is about. you know I recast it from social media, so that I create content. So it
of
helps,
course.
create that mental thing in people's mind. Yeah.
I honestly, I know because you're a teacher, you could go on about this on and on and on, but you won't believe that we've already done over 35 minutes on this topic. But I,
Are you
I want to
serious?
take about 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes to wrap this up because we need to give advice to blockchain developers in the space. People who are working on projects in the space, they're thinking about building in public, especially with regards expectations, pressure, decision making, and of course, possibly government policies and how it affects us. I'm not sure if that's something you can squeeze into 3 minutes, but I think you'll be able to try.
Sure. Actually, surprisingly, I'm actually a developer. That's something that a lot of people don't know about me. I'm a blockchain developer. It's money, hackathons, and the likes. Mainly community stuff because I enjoy it. So I think as a developer, talk about your product. Talk about your product. Like I said, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. If you don't shout, nobody's going to shout for you, especially in the world of today, where everybody is probably now tilted towards those that have more money, those that, things are not normal, where more value should be placed. More value isn't placed on it in today's world. So you have to talk about your product, your community, make shout about, even if you make like just very little progress, no matter how insignificant it is, it's really significant, depending on how you package it. It's not by being fake anyway. You don't have to do fake life, but then talk about your product and then build something as a developer, build something that is simplified. One thing that helped me scale is I simplify education. If you check my Twitter right now, I'm really giving education around solar systems because I understand a lot about solar systems. And I pivoted to creating content around that recently. You know, so a lot of people read these things, they retweet and all that because it's simplified. So don't do something that is so complex that people can't understand. And then finally, about the regulation part, is
Mm.
something that is an ever, is a challenge that you keep having. Regulations, keeps changing over time, especially in our country. So make sure that you are regulatory compliant, or better still, there are some products you should build today. If you build today that you can't use in this country, so you literally just build for the other market, build for the external or international market, while Nigeria is taken out of the picture temporarily.
Mm. Mm. And that is possible now. because it is a global market out there, and a lot of people don't realize that the international market are looking for people like us, like yourself, like the students you're teaching all the time, and they're making heavy investments in the space. Even if here in Africa we've not yet done what we need to do to build the space, but I
True.
believe we'll get there. Am I right? We'll get there.
Right. Yeah, sure. Definitely.
And of course, we'll keep having these conversations. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep giving advice, keep training as well. Congratulations and well done on the platform. Talking about blockchain UNN. Let me see if I can share the screen again one more time. Yeah, so blockchain UNN, the website itself. Let me see if I can show that. Yeah, I got it. So there are a lot of things, a lot of skill sets that they're teaching on blockchain development, front end development, design stack, crypto education, human development, and so much more. Blockchain UNN. Well done on that. And then, of course, for you, you've been wearing the t shirt on it all this time. Let me see. Gida, it's on Twitter. That's Gina Kev Digital Academy. They're also there. If you have any questions, you can always visit them on X, not Twitter. I keep calling it Twitter. X now. Just search for them. Official underscore GIDA. All right then. I'm so interested in having future conversations with you, Kevin. Please don't be a stranger. Keep in touch.
Definitely. Definitely. I would love to be on the show again sometime.
All right then. Thank you so much. Ezemmuo Blockchain. I love
Uh,
it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for taking our time from your busy schedule to be part of the show. But we have to wrap it up now. Have a great
it's my
day.
pleasure. Have a good night. Bye.
Okay, then. So yeah, a really interesting outlook on things, and it works in any space you're doing business. Really, building in public, scaling in the blockchain space. That's what we're talking about today, because you're sharing development milestones, you are soliciting feedback, you're engaging the community. Projects like this, built in public, can build a loyal following, create a sense of shared ownership with any project you're doing. Now, this loyal following and approach can lead to faster iteration, improved market fit, even stronger community support for what you're doing. But it also comes with its own set of challenges. There's high levels of transparency. There's this need to also deal with public scrutiny, and you might have to figure out a balance between the openness with strategic planning. People like Kevin and his platform are there to help guide you, train you in so many different areas. And building in public is what they've done over the years. So they definitely will have advice for you. All right, then at this point, I'm going to wrap it up on Blockchain Mastery Podcast for this episode. If you would like to be on the next edition, it's easy. Just send an email to Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. That's Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. We are so standing by for your mails. We will find a slot for you in the nearest future. We're standing by for your comments and contributions as well. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and of course, the other platforms where you get your podcast: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and I think we're on Deezer as well. Yeah, I think we're on a lot of different platforms where people get their podcasts, and we cannot wait to hear from you. All right, then, my name once again is Titilayo Oyinsan. Thank you so much for joining us.